Just about 27 participants.
Are you supposed to open Zoom meetings? Join a meeting. Sign in.
No, there's no one on right now.
Oh, I see.
This webinar on Cannabis Care Certification. So you can tell your friends that we'll have this posted on social media on our YouTube channel. Feel free to use the chat box to enter any questions you have. We'll be going through the Cannabis Care Certification. My name is Jehan Marcoux. I'm the Chief Science Officer for Americans for Safe Access, and I'm here with Debbie Churgai, your co-host, and we are live from the DC ASA office. So we are Americans for Safe Access. We do a lot of education, policy work, consumer safety, and research. And today we're going to talk to you about Cannabis Care Certification, a little bit of an overview of what it is. This will cover our doctor education CME, our patient education CME. We're going to tell you about what these, sorry, not patient education, CME, just a general patient education. But we'll give you some examples of what the CME looks like for doctors. We're going to go online and actually look at what it looks like, show you some examples of what you get when you sign up. Same thing with the patient education through CCC. We're actually going to show you some of the video, a few minutes, just so you guys can get an idea. So that'll be your treat for sticking in to the end of the presentation webinars. You'll actually get to see what these programs look like. And we're going to end discussing some resources. We also have an online store with lots of books and materials, as well as a reports section of the website with free stuff. But for people who are looking for some next level resources and learning guides, for learning everything about cannabis, we're going to share with you this fairly recently launched online store. So what we're going to talk today about is our medical education. So since 2002, ASA has been providing educational materials for patients and medical professionals. So this started off with, in 2002, with things about arthritis and cancer, who were written anonymously because doctors and researchers at the time were a little afraid. But you fast forward, and now we have folks like Dr. Stephen Korn, who from Harvard, who is promoting cannabis education for doctors. Really amazing program he has helped develop. And so he helped create and is running the answer page, which is online CME for doctors. And a lot of what's really nice about this for doctors is that the quizzes for competency with the program are in the form of crossword puzzles. So it's a little unique, a little more fun than your average quiz. Basically, this is a quote from Dr. Korn. I just wanted to read real quick, is whether or not doctors or other healthcare providers have any intention of recommending medical marijuana for patient care, they all need to be well educated in the clinical area because their patients will be seeking their expert advice and guidance for this important medication. Further, some patients may already be utilizing medical marijuana, and doctors and other healthcare providers will need to be aware of the physiological effects of marijuana as well as potential drug interactions. As such, expertise in medical marijuana will be paramount for most doctors, pharmacists, nurses, and other healthcare providers if they wish to continue to be that respected guide for their patients' healthcare. And our CME offered jointly through the answer page is accredited for other health professionals, whether you're a dentist, a psychiatrist, a nurse, or any sort of health professional, podiatrist. We have education material for you. So basically, part of it is when ASA started, there was no accredited education for medical professionals. So we created CCC. with the answer page to offer this. Another concern was unregulated medical cannabis and fears of contaminated products. We have a certification oversight program, but also helping patients navigate the laws and regulations and educational materials for patients. At a dispensary, the patient who is well educated is going to have a more positive experience with cannabis. And the more they know about the products and their uses, the less likely there are to be issues down the road. And so CCC, the Cannabis Care Certification Program, helps address the need for accredited education, which is accredited through Harvard, as well as providing a platform for patients to learn about how to navigate their state's program, and as well as getting education about the products available in those states. So you can go to the CCC website, as we'll show later, really pull any information about becoming a patient and maintaining your rights as a patient in those states, as well as getting access to some very interesting videos, which we will discuss. So Cannabis Care Certification was created in part to help doctors provide the best care for legal medical cannabis patients and to help patients get the most from their medical cannabis use. So CCC was created by recognized world experts, and this includes online tools used by medical professionals and their caregivers. And this is really to help everyone understand the role of cannabis through a structured learning environment. So the CCC program was designed for individuals such as medical professionals, patients, and their caregivers, as well as companies and organizations. What dispensaries really like to do is buy a bunch, sort of a package of CCC so that they can offer all their patients the same experience from store to store to store, where you're not necessarily relying on individuals to do the training, but you have these online modules which can track training and completion and comprehension of these different modules. And so it's really important for companies which are really trying to give their patients the best experience possible. So this is really popular for dispensaries, and we can talk a little bit more about patient education dispensaries later on. But this is just to kind of give you an idea of what the ribbons look like. When you go to the website, you can get a certificate that has, you know, indicates what you have completed. So patient and caregiver certification, for example, or CME for Cannabis Care Certification. And we have bundles of CME that are in 6 or 22.5 credits. We have over 22.5 CME credits right now available through the answer page. So it's pretty easy. You sign up on the CCC website, cannabiscarecertification.org. When you sign up, you can get a free legal overview and the list of requirements to become a medical cannabis patient. Step 2 is enrolling in the CCC patient education program. This costs $49, is just the sort of off-the-street purchasing thing. There is some good news if you live in DC, though, and we'll talk about that soon. But a lot of dispensaries buy up packages of CCC to offer it for free to their patients at their dispensary. And basically, once you're enrolled, you get to complete the education program, and you receive a certificate that you actually have are familiar with your program and have completed the requisite information. Because a lot of dispensaries now require that patients educate themselves or go through some sort of orientation program before accessing products. So when it comes to DC, Cannabis Care Certification is offered. We have a contract with DC to offer training and education. And so if you happen to be a patient in DC, please let us know. You may be entitled to some training through a dispensary there or through our website. So if you're a patient in DC on the call or on the webinar, drop us a line. What's also great is you can actually find companies near you that are participating in this. Like I said, this is a very popular option for dispensaries in our program, which get a subscription code. And so you can look for free enrollment at the dispensary near you by going to the website. So companies and organizations participating in the CCC program offer their clients our patient and caregiver education program free of charge. And so contact dispensaries directly, learn about their enrolling. You can call up your dispensaries, ask if they are PFC certified, if they have Cannabis Care Certification available. If not, maybe hang up the phone and call another dispensary until you find one. Or you can go on our website and try and find participating ones in your area. So the patient education portion of CCC comes with 2.5 hours of video and an 86-page booklet on those videos. And at the end of the talk, we will maybe take a little tour through the endocannabinoid system. I find it's one of the more interesting videos that we have online. These are the examples of patient education videos. So the basics of the endocannabinoid system, why we're all here talking about this, right, is because we have this system. Cannabis 101, just what it is. It's a plant, how it grows, the nature of it, some of the research and clinical data that's been done on it, what sort of products are made from it, how do you choose your medicine, potency, delivery methods, dosaging, ways of obtaining your medicine, safely using, storing, and transporting your medical cannabis, and about medical cannabis in your life, how to talk with, say, your loved ones or employers or other people in your life that you interact with. And we also provide a history of medical cannabis, both archaeological and regulatory. This is what a certificate looks like. So if you do complete the patient and caregiver education program, your name goes there with the date of completion. And it even is signed by Steph Shear, our director, and Dr. Stephen Korn, the co-founder of the Answer page. And so for doctor education, it's very similar. We'll show you some examples of this, but basically when you sign up, you'll get the free overview of your program, and you choose a medical professional education program that works for you, and you'll be linked to the Answer page portal where you'll start a free account and begin complete the minimum education program. And as you complete the process for doctor education, you can print out those CMEs either in a bundle or as you do it. I just completed the CME for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or Lou Gehrig's disease in cannabis. And so I could print out that 1.5 CME credits, or I could wait until I've done 6 or 7 and print them all out in one certificate. It's really, really interesting. And so this is, again, going back to the medical professional experience, Cannabis Care Certification. We have a contract in DC. So if you're a health professional in District of Columbia, please contact us. We have a contract to offer training in the state. These are what the medical professional fees look like. So 6 CME credits is $249, or you can get the deal of a lifetime, 22.5 CME credits for only $100 more. That's a lot more CMEs, a lot more educational platforms. And believe me, there is a lot to choose from. It's not a bad idea. I'm a PhD researcher, and I still enroll every year for 6 credits just because the courses are updated regularly, and it's really top-notch information. So with medical professionals, you get a membership to the CCC program, full access to the Answer page for a year. You can get 6 CME credits, for example, with this opportunity. There's also 100 syllabus topics in the Answer pages. So maybe you want to take some cannabis CME, but maybe there's other topics that interest you as well. You get access to the full library, and you get full access to the cannabis patient and caregiver suite of educational videos if you're a health professional that's subscribing with us. And you get the personal account at the Answer page, the Harbor-based CME program, as well as you are eligible for a referral list for patients seeking doctors with a background in CCC training. Same thing goes for the 22.5 hours. You get all that and more, but a lot more CME. So here's some examples of the things that are offered on the site. You have, the endocannabinoid system and phytocannabinoids, administration and dosing, physiological and cognitive effects, mental health issues associated with cannabis use, cannabis hyperemesis syndrome, the history of medical cannabis, and the list goes on, including studies in ALS, cancer, epilepsy, HIV, AIDS, Huntington's disease, IBS or inflammatory bowel disease, multiple sclerosis, neuropathic issues, Parkinson's disease, spasticity. A lot of the neurodegenerative disorders are covered. And so when you complete your program through CCC, this is what it looks like. The AMA PRA category, 6 CME credits on cannabis and cannabinoids, and it gives you the hours completed with your name. And that's basically what the certificate looks like. These are what the programs look like we offer. Is that, like I said, we kind of went over this, the patient education caregiver program, medical professional education program. But we also do live events. Maybe you're like, I don't want to look at a screen all day. I want to interact with someone. At the last year's ASA Unity Conference, we did a live CCC event for patient and caregiver education where we showed the videos and had discussions and question and answer between the videos. It's very popular. Also with the live CME events, we did a live CME event at the Pittsburgh Cannabis Conference the other month. I believe it was April 21st. Dr. Corns and myself, we, along with Mark Gordon, gave some presentations, and everyone who attended got a CME access code as well. So if you're interested in live events, not just watching videos and taking exams and doing crossword puzzles, let us know. You can go on the website and let us know what you'd like. So companies, organizations, we offer those live events. And we didn't just design these patient and caregiver education programs in a vacuum. We actually looked at trends and requirements for states, and many programs are requiring that distribution centers, such as a dispensary, offer their patients or clients or qualified individuals education materials about state and federal laws, as well as effects, side effects, and efficacy of different products. And so we designed this program with these specific legal requirements in mind. So you can fill out an application, choose your program, upload your logo, company information, and receive company-specific CCC materials. And so we can send you this no-obligation quote for becoming a company that offers this free education program, which is oftentimes part of complying with state law. The standards that Americans for Safe Access has been a part of creating for the cannabis industry have been adopted in 2/3 of the states that have a cannabis program. Again, here's just some sample materials if you want to apply as a company to be able to distribute these educational materials. Just some snazzy brochures, let people know what you're up to. And again, we list all participating companies on our website, so it's much easier for patients to find where to get this training and which dispensaries are really going to offer them the best experience and best knowledge base to navigate this program, because we get a lot of patients coming in dispensaries who have never been in one before, and that first impression is very important. And sometimes they may never have used cannabis before in their life, and it's important that they have a solid basic education in these products. For medical professionals, again, this is up-to-date legal information. This is actually required in New York State if you want to recommend cannabis, but this curriculum package meets the needs of companies and organizations responsible for coordinating CME education. And again, it's covered by several accreditation bodies, so it's qualified for nurses education, dentists, etc. Again, this medical professional educational program was developed with legal requirements in mind for these programs. Again, so if you want to offer CME and medical professional education, again, you can go to the website, fill out an application, choose the program that you want, CME, provider, and you can receive specific materials in a quote. It's quite easy. And again, here's what the fancy little templates look like. So we offer an array of live events, and this is where it gets fun, as these can be tailored to address the needs of any audience and can include many different types of offerings. For example, if your desire is to educate a bunch of patients in a room and then get them to enroll in the program and register in the program, those are the type of live events that we can orchestrate. And a lot of operations are in favor of doing sort of live events because it brings people together, they get to meet each other, and it's a lot of times it's easier to answer questions that way too. So you can apply for these applications, and we'll work with the CCC staff to create a custom program for you, depending on what you need for the event. You can even, again, talk about the number of participants, how long you want the event, who's the audience, is it just doctors, is it patients and doctors, things like that. And again, for over 2 decades, the Answer page has been providing medical education. For 15 years, Americans for Safe Access has been providing patient education and training for the cannabis industry. And so we're coming together to really enhance what each other is doing and really help medical professionals and patients navigate the laws and the therapeutic benefits of these plant products. Yay, you made it. So I see we have a few questions. Okay, nope, not yet. Okay, so what I'm going to show you next is I'm going to pull up the website, and I just want to show you a couple things.
We do have one question from someone.
Oh, okay.
And their question is, are there similar patient CCCs in California?
You know, I'm not sure I entirely understand the question, but
I think so. This is like an online program, so you can visit it from any state.
Yes.
And take it from any state. I think you use DC as an example, but if you go on the website, you can click on literally any state and it'll show you the laws, the regulations for that state. It'll sometimes show you where dispensaries are located. Actually, you could probably do it now as an example if you want to show how the website works.
Sure. And let me make sure I can share my screen here. Weird. Yeah, so and for California right now, it's draft regulation. So I would say, you know, check every 45 days or so. We will send out alerts when we are updating it. Those are kind of moving targets right now. The draft regulations are out, so we do have that sort of up-to-date information. So I'm going to take you to our web page right now, and this, if you were to enroll, say, in the doctor education at Cannabis Care Certification.org, you would enroll, and you could click to learn more. And basically, after you enroll, you'll receive this instruction page, so you'll get access to the answer page. You'll get a free account at the answer page, and you enter the promo code that you'll receive from CCC, and then as you'll see, you'll get to select what you want to go into. And now we're going to open this up really quick. This is the actual page. So if you're in New York and you want to fulfill your state requirements, there's very specific requirements here required for New York. But if you're in any other state, California, maybe you're in a U.S. territory, you can choose. And here you see I've completed the ALS portion, but perhaps you want to study the effects of cannabis in cancer. It has general information for you on the course, things like that, and the number of fees. And so you read the course requirements, you start the course, and then here are the references and questions. And then, and again, you know, so do clinical studies just that cannabis medicines can alleviate cancer pain. And it gives you some background on dosing and how those work. And then, for example, one way to complete it is to do a quiz, you know, one across. Pharmaceutical preparations of THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, have been long approved for the treatment of blank-induced nausea and vomiting. And so you'd literally fill it in here. It's a really kind of fun way for health professionals, researchers, anyone who's really interested in the next level of education for medical cannabis to engage. And like I said, I have a lot of coworkers and research collaborators who don't practice medicine but still use the answer page as a way to keep pushing themselves. And so, like I said, the answer page offers a lot of things, and those are just some of the courses offered. Now, when it comes to Cannabis Care Certification program, once you are enrolled in the course or have a promo code, you would click on Continued Learning, and you would be, for example, let's just go on that, and hopefully the internet isn't too slow, and you'd be brought up to your videos. You could download the patient guide, look at your current status and score. Let's take a look at the units real quick. So these are the different units of videos we can watch. See these videos, really nicely well done. They were actually, a volunteer did record it, and she is a voiceover actor, and anyone who can guess what else she has done voiceover work for, shows or video games or what have you, wins a fabulous prize. It's an ongoing contest. But I'm just going to show you just a little bit, a minute or two of the video. Before we begin the video, do you have any other comments for the moment, Debbie, before we...
Well, yeah, we have a question from someone. Is there a link to check whether dispensaries in our area or state offer the patient program? And
yes. I believe that is active on the CCC website.
No. Well, that's a good question, but we're just starting the patient education program for dispensaries. So once we get a few dispensaries, we will have that information on the website.
Yeah.
But right now we're in the pilot stage of it, so we're just getting started.
But I encourage you absolutely to call your dispensary and ask them why they're not enrolled in the program. It's
for sure, definitely.
An inexpensive, easy way to provide some of the best content. And we're one of the few non-profits, right? Americans for Safe Access Foundation, is a non-profit and has been around since 2002, helping to pass some of the first distribution laws, collective laws, cultivation regulations in the country. And so I think it's a really good question. Why aren't they providing this? We're just going to watch a little bit of the endocannabinoid system video and maybe get some feedback.
Endocannabinoid system. Welcome to the endocannabinoid system, the human body's silent balancing act. In this course, you will learn a brief
Jahan, can you please turn up the video? We can't hear it. Jahan, we can't hear you. We lost your sound.
I'm going to share screen again to share the audio as well. So hopefully that won't be an issue anymore. Sorry, folks. Quick break while we troubleshoot.
While you're doing that, we got another question about how much the patient care certification program is, and it's for individuals, it's $49 each. But if you're talking about the dispensary programs, it's cheaper if you buy a package deal for dispensaries. I hope that answered your question.
Okay, and so we're going to try again once more. Let me know how the sound is this time. Let's see.
Welcome to the endocannabinoid system, the human body's silent balancing act.
In this course, you will learn a brief history of opioids and cannabinoids, the endocannabinoid system, the ECS, and how it works, the physiological role of endocannabinoids, and physician's protocol. Humans have used opiates, which have been derived from plants, for thousands of years to lessen pain and produce euphoria. Elixir, derived from the most popular of these plants, the opium poppy, is believed to have been used as early as 500 BC. Similarly, the cannabis plant has been used to relieve pain and produce euphoria for even longer. Documented medicinal use of cannabis dates back to the 1800s, when Irish physician W.B. O'Shaughnessy wrote an article in support of its use. It wasn't until 1973 when scientists discovered opioid receptors. Opioid receptors are cellular structures in the brain that act as mediators when binding with opioids. In 1975, they discovered the first of the brain's natural chemicals that react with these receptors. These natural endogenous opioid peptides are commonly known as endorphins. This new understanding and the similarity to cannabis plant-based chemicals encouraged scientists to follow a research path to see if cannabinoids had other similarities. The answer was yes. In 1964, THC was discovered, leading to further discoveries. In 1988, the first cannabinoid receptor, CB1, was discovered, following 4 years later in 1992 by the identification of a second receptor, CB2. Scientists continued their research and found that the body, in addition to producing endogenous opioids, also produces endogenous cannabinoids that both work by binding to the respective receptors. However, there is a significant difference between the opioids and the cannabinoids that was identified with the discovery of the endocannabinoid system. Cannabinoid receptors are virtually absent in areas of the hindbrain or brainstem, whereas there are a high number of opioid receptors in this part of the brain. The hindbrain is where critical life support systems, such as heartbeat and breathing, are regulated. This may account for cannabis's relative safety and why there are so many deaths attributed to the use of opiate-based medicines. The endocannabinoid system is the body's own mechanism for preserving homeostasis, keeping all body functions running smoothly. This system is composed of a sophisticated group of neuromodulators, their receptors, and signaling pathways involved in regulating a variety of physiological processes, including movement, mood, memory, appetite, and pain. The endocannabinoid system is probably the most ubiquitous system in the human body, with the cannabinoid receptors CB1 and CB2 located throughout the brain and the periphery of the body. To understand how the endocannabinoid system works, let's take a closer look at the three main components of the system: neurotransmitters, cannabinoid receptors, and signaling pathways. Neurotransmitters are endogenous chemicals that transmit signals from a neuron to a target cell across a synapse. Cannabinoid receptors are G proteins that bind with endogenous cannabinoids, which are in turn neurotransmitters. These receptors are located on the outside of the presynaptic neuron. When these neurotransmitters are produced, the path they travel can be thought of as a signaling pathway. This pathway includes the synaptic vesicle and the synaptic cleft. When looking at how the endocannabinoid system works, it may help to think in terms of messages being sent from one cell or neuron to another. When the neurotransmitter receptor on the postsynaptic neuron is activated in the endocannabinoid system, the neuron synthesizes an endogenous cannabinoid.
And you're gonna have to log in to see how that story ends. But some of you who are savvy about the endocannabinoid system, you know that it is synthesized on demand and engages in retrograde signaling, if you don't know how that story ends. And so that is basically our program. It starts off in it's kind of a universal appeal for the patient and caregiver education. We start off very simply, and that is really just where the story starts. It's just in the most basic aspects of science and builds upon that, because we get really complicated really fast where we start talking about this plant that has all these components and how it treats different conditions. And of course, there are different varieties and chemical compositions and other factors that regulate this system. And so that is our quick, for Lawmaking, we have some questions coming in. We're happy to answer those questions. Yeah, Debbie, do we have any more questions coming in?
We have a question for lawmakers and State Department of Health workers needing to be informed more. Is the pricing the same for them?
We actually work for regulators. They enter into our patient focus certification program, which generally the training is complimentary. So we've trained chemists in the Department of Public Health in California. We've trained Delaware's program administrators. We trained folks from Maryland's commission. And generally, we work out those agreements with regulators. We know that a lot of states necessarily don't have the resources to implement the regulations that they pass. And so we take this into account when we work with them. So that's a really good question. So if you are a regulator, yeah, we work directly with the program administrators to kind of fit their need. And to help them implement the regulations. Because writing the regulations is the easy part. Actually getting people to follow them and make sure they're following them is the really difficult part. And the patient program does allow materials to be rewatched. It is on-demand access. If you want to watch just the first 5 minutes of the endocannabinoid system over and over again, hey, that's your party. You can do that, absolutely. So it's a one-time fee for continuous access. I think it is. Debbie, can you be more precise? But I believe it gives 1 year access to that at a time for once you pay for access.
I don't know. I think you always have access to it.
It's a one-time fee, yeah, as an individual, yeah. Yeah.
And also, we also give this you free access to, if you take our patient focused certification training. Along with that training, you get free access to the patient education videos as well.
Yeah, and I did see a comment from Dr. Wagner about Ethan Russo. I'm so glad you brought that up because he actually helped write a lot of our educational materials for doctors. Like those patient booklets I showed in the beginning, Ethan actually authored a lot of those. And we actually have a book chapter coming out with him about the endocannabinoid system. And he continues to be involved in helping to author and advance a lot of this information. And so if you want the next high level, super detailed stuff, I'd recommend the CCC for medical professionals. It goes into a lot more specific technical detail, really good stuff. Each module is like a short thesis on the endocannabinoid system and medical cannabis. Well, are there any other questions or comments coming in? It seems like we had a couple here tonight. If not, we can let you guys go early. We just wanted to take you to a tour of some of our programs. See if there's any new messages.
And we will be posting this webinar on our YouTube page. If you go look up Americans for Safe Access YouTube page and you click on subscribe, you'll get notified when we upload new videos, because we're going to be doing these webinars about every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and so again, if you're interested in providing this for your patients, go to the cannabiscarecertification.org and fill out an application, and we will tailor a package for you. And that's what we found is the best. Yeah, so thank you all of you for your time, your comments, your questions. We do take it into account. And maybe we should get Ethan to come and do one of these webinars sometime. You know, he certainly speaks at our conferences.
We just got one more question.
Ooh, excellent.
Does ASA ever work with lawmakers regarding recreational lawmaking practices as well, or strictly from a medical context?
We never have a day off here at the ASA office. It's all about work, not recreation. So we're a patient-focused organization. We focus on the needs and concerns of medical cannabis patients. That's why we were started. That's why we were founded. That continues to be our driving mission, is to ensure safe and legal access to medical cannabis. We don't have anything against adult use. I have trouble saying recreational cannabis just because I don't know another substance we call, recreational. Usually it's kind of a weird statement, but for these programs, I think we all want the same thing for these programs. We want to ensure public health. We want safe products. And so I think that some of the needs are the same, but for cannabis patients, they have very specific needs, very specific requirements, and they need to potentially discuss their medicine with someone who has an appropriate background and training. Yes, and for those of you who attended, we have your emails if you RSVP'd, and we can send a follow-up email with links to the CCC website and these different programs. So apologize for the mass email, but if you RSVP'd, we can send around some links and resources afterwards. If you did not RSVP and you access this through social media at the last second, send us your email right now through the chat box.
Oh yeah, let me.
Great. And so also, and again, just to end this, if there are topics you'd like us to present about, the PFC webinar is not just about our programs and the different services we offer and the free reports we have at safeaccessnow.org/reports, tons of free information, peer-reviewed studies and things like that. If there's topics you're interested in, let us know. Let us know what interests you. If you come from a certain background, let us know. If you work in the industry, if you're just interested in it, how can we help you? How can we make these webinars better? So, excellent. Thank you so much for throwing in your information there. We will get out to you. And again, like I said, this is just something we're trying to have fun with in a very serious and professional way. So, but if there are topics you'd like us to cover, please feel free to email them. We have info@patientfocusedverification.org, info@safeaccessnow.org. There's my email, there's Debbie's email. Really, we're here to provide education and training. And we're going to be starting to do some live events. We're planning a live event for Ohio. That'll be more information coming about that in mid-June. So if you're those folks in the Ohio area that want to go into a live training, we're going to be engaging in that about mid-June 2017. So just around the corner. Okay, we got a request for a webinar on dosage for pain patients. Well, yeah, I think that's a great idea. We should we will put that one into our calendar and see what we can get for that. That's a great suggestion. So I don't want to keep you guys any longer on a school night. Feel free to email us for any follow-up, and before the weekend, we'll send you a nice follow-up email with some links and other resources. I just want to say thank you so much. I'm about to turn off the recording and wish you all have a good night.